Long way, get this shit a long way, this shit a long way. Long way, hit it long way, 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 shit long way, 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 shit a long way. Gotta get the shit a long way, get the shit a long way, gotta get the shit a long way, get the gotta know what she don't really understand, man. Gotta know what she don't really understand, man. Gotta get a middle, she don't understand. She be tripping every day, she be tripping every way, but I gotta get this shit a long way, gotta get this shit a long way. Tryna get money every single way, tryna get money every single day, get money every single way, every day. Every day we gotta get paid, yeah. Every day we gotta get paid, yeah. I'm feeling like we be the new slaves, yeah. No, we gotta finish rich, no, we gotta finish rich. Got a new bitch, she don't understand rich. She don't understand, niggas gotta get rich. She don't understand, sometimes we got hit lit. No, we ain't hit lit, tryna get the long way, yeah. Tryna get this shit the long way, yeah. Coach is tryna wrap up a entree, yeah. Told you the other day that did my palm strong. We gon' shoot the long way, we gon' get the long way, yeah. Yeah, get the shit the long way. My bitch be trippin' back and forth like a palm way. My name is Tari, I ain't playing games, so I'm done Tari. Yesterday she told me that she about to leave, I said fuck it, bitch, we gon' get some money. I said fuck it, bitch, I'm about to get some money. So what I do today, I went and got some money, yeah. Cause we gon' get this shit the long way, long way, we gon' get shit the long way, yeah. Back and forth like the palm way, yeah. Man, I'ma get this shit the long way, get this shit the long way. Just the only way today, because they go with shit's crazy. We gotta wear masks, we the new slaves, and we be wearing this shit like every day. We be okay, we gon' be okay, they gon' be okay, they gon' be okay, for yeah. So we gon' get this shit the long way, we gon' get this shit long way, we gon' get this shit the long way, we gon' get this shit the long way, yeah, we get shit the long way, yeah, cause we gon' be okay, we gon' be okay, yeah, we gon' get the long way, yeah.
Hello, everyone. Hello. Welcome. Remove this. Welcome to the show. If you're new to the channel, thank you for joining. My name is LJ Young, and I'm a 100% debt-free motivational speaker and personal finance educator. I help people become financially free by helping them mathematically see outside what I call the debt matrix. And the debt matrix is a place where debt slaves live. Now, there's two kinds of debt slaves: unconscious debt slaves and conscious debt slaves. Unconscious debt slaves cannot see negative numbers psychologically. All right. So let me give you an example. If you're a homeowner, open up your calculator, open up the calculator app and put in the following: your mortgage payment minus your mortgage balance, and then hit equal. Now, as you look at the calculator, I want you to just listen to the sound of my voice. The reason why you believe you're a homeowner is because you cannot see negative numbers psychologically. You can obviously see them physically because you're looking at the calculator now. Okay, that's what I mean. So now I'm going to describe the debt matrix to you, okay? The debt matrix, damn, this bug is really trying to get killed. The debt matrix is the space between your calculator and your brain. So for example, as you're looking at the negative numbers on the calculator, those negative numbers pass through the debt matrix, and on the other side is your brain, and you magically believe you're a homeowner. That's how it works, okay? That's the debt matrix, all right? That's where you live if you believe you're a homeowner with a 30-year mortgage. Now, there's conscious debt slaves, were once unconscious, now they trust the calculator, and now they're doing anything and everything to get out of debt. That was me up until the age of 40, okay? I was what you would call a high-value alpha male debt slave, right? All right, six-figure earner, career, college educated, blah, 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 everything that says you are high valued in the debt matrix. Okay, six figures. For some reason in the debt matrix, six figures seems to be the number that they like. That's why they always talk about people with six figures, right? That was me until one day I woke up, didn't realize I didn't own anything, came across Dave Ramsey. Dave Ramsey basically says, take the arithmetic that we all learned in grade school, apply it to your finances using these baby steps. That's what I did. Got out of debt, figured out it was just math. And I said, well, if it's just math, what does religion have to do with it? Because Mr. Ramsey is a big religious person. So I just said math. There was nothing. So I stripped that out. This is for SMD. Also, I took his baby. I was listening to his baby step 4 or something like that, where it says where you pay off all your debt, except your mortgage. As soon as you get to that, start putting away 15% away into retirement. But if you look at the calculator, your mortgage payment minus your mortgage balance, you don't have 15% of anything to put anywhere. So I stripped that out. That's called business. Some business model is wrapped around putting 15% away. And that's not a bad thing. I'm just telling you, it's just business. Because if it doesn't make mathematical sense, it's called business. All right. So anyway, I stripped that out. Now I'm here. Now long story short, fast forward everything, what my ability is. I have a gift. The gift is to see negative numbers psychologically. This is something millions of people cannot do, cannot see, don't know it exists. And it really doesn't matter because that's how it's supposed to be. In the majority in all capitalist economies, the majority must be in debt for it to work. Debt slaves are the oil to the engine of capitalist economies. Without you in it, the engine would seize. It would seize up because it has no oil, right? So that's what I mean. It works with you. But anyway, it's a choice. One thing I love about capitalist economies is that it's a choice. Either you trust the calculator or you don't. That's it. That's how it does. If you want to be wealthy, that's what it is. All right. Anyway, today I'm going to read a couple of articles to you sent to me by NYC Evolved, right? Now, I'm going to read these articles the SMD way, okay? The way of being able to see negative numbers psychologically, all right? Now, you're never gonna find anybody else on YouTube or even the internet that's going to read articles to you like this. And this is I'm just trying to show you something, how things are sold, how business is done. You know, it's just, and it's nothing personal. It's just business. All right. Don't think whatever I'm reading in this article, these people are bad and evil and no, that's called business. But I'm just going to read it to you in a very different way, unlike any other person on the internet. All right. So the first one, actually, let me do this. Let me bring these and then I'll paste it because I didn't put the link to the articles inside the body of it yet. Let me see which one I'm gonna pick first. Let's pick this one because I got 3 of them. So I'm gonna post the link if you want to read along. It's totally up to you. So I'm gonna post it in the chat. Oops, there we go. Okay, so this is going to be the first article. All right, that's the first one. So let me bring it up, and you can read along if you wish. There we go. Cancel. Share screen. Hello. Oh. Oh, there we go. All right. And things are going really, really slow for some reason. I'm not sure why it's going so slow. Anyway. All right, this is the first one, okay? And I'm not going to be able to see you guys' comments because I got one screen I'm looking at. I don't have multiple screens. But I'm going to read it to you. I don't even know how to describe it. I'm going to read it to you. Let's just say mathematically, okay? I just want you to follow the math, all right? All right, the title, Meet a Single Dad with $550,000 in student loan debt for his 5 children. I'm just not going to take the chance on not sending my kids to school. Okay, first of all, this article is designed for people with student loans and you don't have that much. It's designed to make you feel good about the amount of student loan debt you have. That's why they always pick one of the high people, because they know the majority don't have $550,000 of student loan debt. The majority of you guys got 100,000, 80,000. And so when you look at that, the first thing you debt slaves say to themselves, whoo, good thing my student loan debt is not that much. That's why it's designed to do that. Okay. Now, if you look in the article, he says it's in quotes, so I'm assuming it's from him. I'm just not going to take the chance on not sending my kids to school. He doesn't have a chance. He has no money. There is no chance for him to do anything. The only way to pay for your kids' education is your money. You have to have money to pay for it. If you don't have the money, you don't have a choice. Okay. Well, you do have a choice. So you could just say, you can look at your kids and say, hey, son, daughter, sorry, you're not going to college. I didn't do my money right. You could just say that. I have no money to pay for college, and just be honest with yourself. But this dad, he said he's going to go into over $500,000 in debt because he was obviously not prepared to pay for his kids' college, something, right? So he said he's not going to take a chance. That doesn't even make any sense. You don't have no choice. All right. All right. So let's scroll down here. Reed Clark, 57, unexpectedly became the sole provider of his 5 children. Well, if they're your children, you are the sole provider. There's nothing unexpected about that. That doesn't make any sense. What do you mean? What are you talking about? Even if you're with somebody, you're still the sole provider, still. He took out Parent Plus loans to fund their education and told Insider he now has $550,000 in debt. So a Parent Plus loan is for parents that didn't save for their kids' college. They probably still have student loans of their own. So now, in order to be locked in until they're dead, they're going to take out a Parent Plus loan. Okay. That means at 57, he's going to die a slave for sure. He's not paying at 57 years of age, and he's not paying off over $500,000 in student loan debt plus interest. He's going to die a slave. Okay. I'm looking at paying $3,000 a month for the better part of the rest of my life, he told Insider. See, he doesn't even know what he's saying. For the better part, what do you mean? For the rest of your life, you're going to die a slave. He's going to die a slave. And basically, he's accepting of that. But I think they put in better part to make it, because it would sound horrible if they said that to you in the article. Oh, he's going to be paying on student loan debt for the rest of his life. But if you're smart, you got to think to yourself, is he going to pay off over $500,000 in student loan debt at age 57? He's going to die with it. Okay. All right. Let me see here. Reed Clark didn't expect to provide for his 5 children on just his income alone. Clark was preparing to pay for his 5 kids' education as part of a 2-income family. But he and his wife divorced in 2011. What's that got to do with your money? Just because you guys together, that doesn't change anything. Just a few years later, when the children started going to college, he decided to turn to federal loan to finance their education himself. He decided to turn to federal loans to finance their education himself. He's not financing anything. He just went to go get a loan. See how they word things? This is just business. He's financing it. He's not doing anything. He's just borrowing money. Due to private circumstances, his ex-wife isn't contributing. Okay. Now his debt load stands over $550,000. Now understand, that's just his student loan debt. Guarantee you he has other debts. Because if you have student loan debt, he has every other debt: car payments, house payment, mortgage, rent, whatever. He has all that. I'm looking at paying $3,000 a month for the better part of the rest of my life. Clark, who is 57, told Insider he estimates he'll have to keep making those payments for at least 3 more decades until he's dead. And see how he's talking 3 more decades? You're almost 60 now. What you talking about, 30 more years? He must be in extreme good health if he plans on living to 90. Parent Plus loans, the type of loan Clark is paying off, are federal loans that let parents pay for their children's education. They don't let you pay for anything. You're borrowing money. And since you're borrowing the money, whatever the price of the education is today, it's not for you. It's whatever the price of the education is when you pay off the student loans. That's the price of the education. It's not what you see. So say like you send your kids and it's $20,000 a year or something, or 30, whatever, right? That's for people paying cash, not for people who getting loans. Okay. And see this picture? Look at him just smiling with his kids. Look at him. They all seem to be over $500,000 in debt. So if you add in his other debt, he's probably closer to 800 to $1 million. And they're smiling in this picture. That's for you, debt slaves, to make it seem like it's okay. Look, everybody's happy, and dad's over almost over $500,000 in debt that he cannot get out of unless he pays back every single penny of it. There is no way out of student loan debt. Never, ever. You think he's going to make $550,000 and pay off that student loan debt before he's dead? He's not. I have no idea why he's smiling in this picture, but that's for you guys. I do know why. That's for debt slaves. Okay. For Clark, the ability to take out those loans meant he didn't have to defer his kids' education despite the unexpected change. They keep reiterating like this divorce was unexpected, and this is the reason. They're trying to tell you guys this is the reason why he did it. But now he said, even though he makes a livable salary in healthcare sales, his retirement could very likely be pushed off because he chose to take out debt to prioritize his kids' futures. Now, let me tell you something right now. What Clark doesn't know, he doesn't have a retirement. His retirement is $550,000 in student loan debt. That is his retirement. He's talking about pushing off retirement. You have no retirement and you can never retire. Guess what? Your kids are going to be taking care of you, Clark. I hope they're ready for it. They're going to hope you're looking at dad and say, has dad been taking care of his health? Is he caring about what he's eating and is he able to walk okay? Or he's just eating bad food? And get ready, kids. You're going to have to take care of dad because dad's not going to be able to retire. For those of us who want to see our kids do better, we understand that you better yourself and you better your chances for success with education. Okay, that's just a way for you guys to feel good about getting your student loan debt. Clark said, and I'm just not going to take the chance on not sending my kids to school. See, he thinks he still has options. Clark has no money to do anything with no kids to go to school anywhere. He doesn't have any money. Even though it's going to create a tremendous financial burden, it's not an option. Yes, it is. You could just say, no, sorry, kids, I messed up. What's up, Dad? I didn't save no money for you guys' kids' college. And I'm definitely not going in over $500,000 in debt because of it. I'm not doing that. Clark says he wanted what was best for his kids, and Parent Plus loans allowed him. This must be some kind of sales pitch because they keep shoving Parent Plus loans. I mean, I guess it's to get you. For some reason, they're pushing Parent Plus loans. I'm not sure why they're doing that. Allow him the opportunity. They act like it's an opportunity to get a loan, $550,000 worth. That's an opportunity. But he's highly concerned for his own financial future. He has no financial future. He's over $500,000 in debt. He has no financial. He's concerned. He's done. He's never going to be able to pay that off. Never. And he blames high interest rates and lending practices that don't take into account the borrower's income or change in income. Look at him. Clark is blaming somebody else because he doesn't know about his own finances. So he's blaming somebody else. Oh, it's the high interest rates. They didn't tell me this. You didn't know your bank account was empty? Clark, you didn't know your bank account was, when you logged into your bank account, You did not see that you didn't have enough money to send your kids to college? You didn't know that. Why is it up to the bank to tell you about your own finances? They wouldn't make no money. That's not how business works. Highly concerned. He blamed the high interest rates, lending practices that don't take into account the blah, blah, blah. They really make it challenging to educate your kids and pay for. Who makes it challenging? Who's they? All you got to do is look in the mirror. You make it challenging. President, oh, here they go, blaming the president. What Biden do? Let's see what Biden did. President Joe Biden campaigned on canceling $10,000 in student debt for every borrower, and for Democrats, and some Democrats are urging to cancel 50. That's just to get you debt slaves worked up. They're never going to cancel student loan debt ever. That's never going to happen ever. So stop dreaming. Get your ass out there and work. That's the only way you're going to be able to pay them off. Just like everybody else like me that paid off the student loan debt, you have to work and pay it off. Okay, stop dreaming. They just keep putting that stuff out there. And you know what you guys do? You guys go out and getting more student debt thinking it's going to be canceled. Everybody, but it's unclear whether Parent Plus loans would be included in the forgiveness. Helping parents with their debt has yet to become a part of conversation in Capitol Hill. You guys are too old. If you don't know by now, and you're a parent, and your kids are going to college, and you don't know you were supposed to pay off your student loan debt by the time your kid goes to college, it's too late for you. It's too late. So they're going to just stack you on again because you didn't mind carrying your student loan all your life. So you're definitely not going to mind what you ain't going to have no choice. When you add a Parent Plus loan on top of your regular loan, you're going to die a debt slave. You're going to be dying making payments to the student loan debt place, and it's your fault. They're always blaming somebody. Helping parents with their debt yet to become part of the conversation on Capitol Hill. It's like Parent Plus loans are the most expensive type of loan, and they might not be even be forgiven. Look at that. Parent Plus loans might not even be inside of some kind of forgiveness. It's just so stupid. Parent Plus loans are the most expensive. They have the interest rates of 6.28 for the 2020 year compared to 3.7 undergraduate allowed there. I just thought, when they talk like this, these statistics, the average is made up upon millions of slaves making the same financial decisions as one. So when you hear the average this loan is this, that's for you guys. That has nothing to do with people that understand money, people that have the ability to see negative numbers psychologically. It has nothing to do with us. New data released last week by the Texas Public Policy Foundation highlighted the burden student. Okay, you needed somebody to tell you that student loan debt is burdens. It makes no sense. Finding that there are about one parent plus borrower for every 5 loan. Man, that is a lot. So a lot of these people, check it out. A lot of these people you think got money, they got their own student loans and they got Parent Plus loans. They are swimming in debt. Andrew Gillen, author of the report. Okay, that must be a sales pitch or somebody. I guess they put his name in there because he's getting paid, or they want you to go see who Andrew Gillen is or whatever. Author of the report told Yahoo Finance that one of the problems with Parent Plus loans is that because the amount parents receive is based on cost of attendance instead of how much the parents can actually afford, it can create a dangerous mentality that leads to increased borrowing. All right, let me see what they're trying to say there. Okay, they let you borrow as much as you want, same as regular student loans. It's the same thing. It's no different than when you borrow regular student loan debt, but it's just at a higher price. That doesn't make any sense because that applies to all student loan borrowers. All right, it's not as if Clark's children went to the most expensive schools in the country. 3 of them went to small schools in Pennsylvania, where Clark lives, and the other 2 went to other state schools in the East Coast, but even public university. Okay, whatever. Since 2001, the average, okay, they start throwing out statistics. If you guys don't know how much debt you're in, you have no idea what this means, okay? So it's no point in reading it. It doesn't apply to you because you're in debt. Student loan, Clark wanted to have a vet. Okay, so whoa. Okay, since the average tuition, in addition to Clark's loans, each of his kids took out $20,000 in student loan debt because Clark wanted them to have a vested interest in their education. So not only did Clark get student loan debts for himself, he insisted that his kids get student loan debt, so they can also share the pain of having student loan debt. That's the vested interest. Vested interest in student loan debt. I wanted them to. He probably couldn't get enough for all of them, so they had to take out student loans to cover the rest, and masked it as, "Oh, I want them to have a vested interest." Okay, whatever. He said that his debt comes down to flaws. Oh, he's blaming something else again. Down to flaws with the federal student aid system. It's not his fault. It's the federal student aid system that did it to him, even though he went to them and signed up. Okay. In which the government makes it very easy for people to borrow money, but hard to pay it back. Sound like if they're making it easy for you to borrow the money to go to school, that's a good thing. Wouldn't it be wrong what if they made it very hard to borrow student loan money? And if you don't, and when you sign up to get it, they tell you right there you have to pay it back. But in this agreement, they say you can take as long as you want. They don't care. At the very onset of the whole process is where the problem began. Oh, there's another problem. Said, okay, where's another problem, Clark? Referring to the unchecked amount parents can borrow years in advance. They really make it challenging to educate your kids and pay for, blaming everybody and everything except himself. Don't worry, millions of people do that. Not just Clark's not the only one that does it. Once the federal pause on the student, he's taking, so once the federal pause on the student loan payments lifts in February, Clark anticipates having the means to make monthly payments on his loans, but Clark anticipates having, so he doesn't have the money now, but when it kicks in next year, he anticipates him having the money for his loans, but completely eliminating his debt could take decades. And he said he's not holding out hope for student loan forgiveness anytime soon. So that tells me not only Clark has $550,000 in student loan debt, he hasn't been paying them either since this pause. And he anticipates having the money to pay for them. So that means he doesn't have it right now. I am highly concerned about my ability to pay back the loans my remaining work years, and it's going to scare me even more in a few years when I retire. He still thinks he's going to be able to retire, and it scares him even more to retire and go on to a very limited income. You know, they're going to be taking some of that money, whatever he thinks he has. They're taking that money for student loan debt. Clark said, that's the part that gives me the most anxiety. Can you imagine? I guarantee you he can't sleep. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. He can't sleep. Guarantee you he can't sleep. Can you imagine? What kind of sleep do you think you're going to get with $550,000 in student loan debt over your head? If you got that much student loan debt, you got other debts too. You got mortgage, you got car payments, because guess what? You can't buy anything when you have student loan debt. That's impossible. You can't. Let's get this other one up here. Okay, I'm just a second here. Let me close some of these windows. All right, let's go to this one. All right, here's the next one. They be doing debt slaves so bad. Ooh, they be doing debt slaves so bad. Here's the next one, all right? Share screen. Chrome tab. All right. Why are people making six figures living paycheck to paycheck? You know how many of you they're talking to? That's why they put it up. They know millions of you guys are doing this. Of course, you're going to pay attention to this article because it's you. Now they put a picture of a young adult, making her look like she's one of the successful, six-figure earners. Whatever image you guys need to see in your head that a six-figure earner looks like, they're putting it right there. Young adult, pretty girl. She's got nice furniture. Look at her house. It's so well, even though that could be a stage. It probably is a stage. It's probably, I'm sure it's really not her house. I'm sure it's not her house. Okay. This is just for you. All right. Getting stuck living in a paycheck to paycheck cycle is an all too common issue, even for people up to six figures, because it has nothing to do with their income, slaves. It has nothing to do with how much money you make. But you guys are so locked on six figures, thinking that's a lot of money, they just keep using it. All right. Some of you guys are looking at it, hey, that's me. Some of you guys are saying, damn, I wish I made six figures, because you guys think it has something to do with how much money you make, and it doesn't. Okay. Oh, here we go with this recent studies. A recent study conducted by Payments. I don't know who they are, but they in there for a reason. Maybe they paid for advertisement to be in this article. Who cares? But they highlighted in blue so you can click on and see who they are, and then maybe you'll buy a service. Okay. Found that 53% of those who are considered upper income, those earning between 50 and 100,000, are living paycheck to paycheck. Let me explain something to you guys too. Economic classes don't exist. Okay, lower class, middle class, upper class. That's in the debt matrix. You guys believe that exists. That doesn't exist. If you have student loan debt, the only class you're in is in the debt class. That's it. If you have student loan debt, don't worry about lower class, middle class, upper class. You are in the debt class. Period. All right. And if you're in the debt class, that's why you're living paycheck to paycheck, because you're in the debt class. All right. So, what's that saying? All right. So is this a matter of people living above their means, or is it just the cost of living is now high, or both? It's both. What other factors may be coming into play? I don't know. Oh, Go Bank rates. They're going to tell us. Go Bank rates. I'm sure you're going to click on them and go see who Go Bank rates is. All right. Spoke to financial experts. Financial experts. Who says who? You? Go Bank rates? Okay. All right. To get their insight on why so many people making up to six figures are still struggling to make ends meet. All right. What are you going to tell us? I'm curious. It's to fall victim. It's easy to fall victim to lifestyle creep. What is lifestyle creep? All right. Lifestyle creep occurs when you increase your spending as your income increases. So what that means, debt slaves, is like this. Oh, they're going to tell you anyway. Never mind. For instance, people move into bigger apartments or buy more expensive car or home to reward themselves for receiving a raise. That's what you guys do. What you guys do is you celebrate your increase by going deeper in debt. You guys do two. You guys don't know you guys do two things. You guys increase your tax bracket and go deeper in debt at the same time. So you're losing money twice as fast every time you get a raise and do this. All right. Receiving a raise, says Robert R. Johnson, PhD. That's for you guys to believe whatever he's going to say, right? CFA professor. Look at that long ass title. Professor of finance at Whittier College of Business in Creighton University. Did we need to know that long of a title? That's for you guys to believe whatever he's going to say. What happens is they are unable to improve their financial condition because they spend everything they make. Well, okay, hold up. I needed somebody from with a PhD to tell me the problem is this. They're unable to improve their financial situation because they're spending too much. I needed a PhD person to tell me that. That's obvious. The high cost of education and housing also play a role. Okay, this is where they start blaming things outside of themselves. This is what they want you guys, instead of looking in the mirror, debt slaves, they want you to look outside yourself. Okay. Antonio Tovar, associate with wealth planner at Stone Wealth Management. They got ads all up in here. They're selling you guys so much shit in here because they know you guys are debt slaves. You guys need something. So they're selling you guys stuff in here, and you're going to believe it because I guess it's in a Yahoo Finance article. You guys are going to believe it. Notes that two major wealth building tools, higher education and housing, mortgage, student loan debt, and mortgage payments. They said if you want that, get into that. Higher education, so they want you to get deeper in debt to do this. Those are wealth building tools. Student loan debt and mortgages. No, that's negative. That's not positive. That's negative. Are now more costly than ever before, making it harder for upper income earners to make ends meet. Economic classes don't exist. There is no up end something, lower end some. It doesn't exist. Let's see. Post-secondary education is not as affordable as it used to be. What's really unaffordable if you ain't got no money to go to school at all? Go check your bank account. That's how, log into your bank account. That's how much money you have to go to college right there. So who cares what college costs if you ain't got no money? If you ain't got no money to pay for it, who cares how much it costs? But they're going to sell it to you anyway. Post-secondary education is not as affordable as it used to be. He said, either you bite the bullet and borrow against your future capital instead of investing with money you don't have. See how they sell it to you? They're trying to scare you. Hey, man, you're going to go against investing and go to school, or don't, and try your hand at life with little education. They're basically saying, go ahead and try it, but you ain't gonna get nowhere if you ain't got no education. They're scaring you. You don't have to go to college, especially in this economy. You don't need no college education. No, you don't. Everything you need to know is on YouTube. Okay. Many students end up having to take out student loans to afford higher education, and thanks to interest. What do you mean? The money's not free. What do you mean thanks to interest? You knew that when you were signing up that there was interest. That's not a surprise. Thanks to interest, these loans can take a large bite out of a person's income for years or even decades to come. Yeah, if you decide to pay on your student loan debt that long, that's totally your problem. If you decide to pay on your student loan debt for decades, that's your problem. Oh, they do you debt slave so dirty. Man. Boy, I tell you. They do you debt slaves so dirty. Of course, you guys can't afford higher education. You have no money. You have student loan debt. Real estate price. For you young people out there that you guys are wandering around lost how to become wealthy or whatever, right? I'm gonna tell you right now, don't take financial advice with student loans from people with student loans older than their career and or business. If their student loan debts are older than everything they have in their life, do not take financial advice from that person. That is a debt slave. And the really dangerous ones are the ones that don't know they're debt slaves. Those are and when I say dangerous, I mean financially speaking, all right? Real estate prices have also continued to rise, which they will all the time, making it harder and harder for even upper income earners to be able to afford a home, to buy a home, but to be able to afford to buy a home. The only way to buy a home is in cash, people. There is no other way to buy a home. Real estate prices increase. The choices are narrow, only for people that need mortgages. Either sacrifice more cash flow by purchasing your home or continue to rent with no guaranteed projection of rental costs. Okay, here they go scaring you guys again, saying they're trying to make it seem like renting is a bad thing. That's not true. People with mortgages are renting from the bank. They just don't know they're renting from the bank. See, when they always say renters versus people with mortgages versus renters, the difference between those two, renters know they're renting. People with mortgages don't know they're renting from the bank. That's their problem. It doesn't mean anything. That's called business. All right. Housing prices increased, especially in upcoming cities. The price of ownership, property with taxes. They're doing all the scare tactics to tell you all this, to scare you into getting a mortgage now because you might think that you won't be able to afford it later. So you better get in now. They do that every year. Okay, people, that's every single year. All right. After setting aside funds for student loan payments. What? What do you mean setting aside funds? You're living. Okay, hold up. If you're in student loan debt, you can't set aside. You don't have no funds. You got to pay after setting aside funds for student loan payments, mortgage, and normal fixed living expenses to keep lights on. Even people making 100,000 may not have much cash flow left, especially if they're living in an area in a high cost of. They're living in the wrong area. They have no money. If someone lives in a high cost of living area where their career is anchored, it's not easy to just leave and move to a lesser developed area with less opportunity. All right, more scare tactics. Plus, if they relocate to a less expensive area, they pay may decrease as well. Okay. Yeah, you guys are in such deep debt, you can't afford to take a pay decrease. Well, that's what you believe, but how to break the cycle. The experts agree that building a budget is the first step to breaking the cycle, no matter what your salary may be. Okay, whatever. Having a budget is a good idea, so you know what is coming in and where your money is going. Okay, some financial advisor somewhere that you can click on. This allows you to see where you may be overspending, the gap between what you make, and what you spend. Another way to break the cycle is to make an effort to not give into life cycle creep. I don't know what the hell that means. People are wise to effectively invest any money from a raise to active. You have no money. Just because you get a raise, you have no money to invest. Okay. You have money to pay off debt. That's it. That is continue to live the same lifestyle. Okay. Yeah. Whatever. It's so funny, man. They just tell you in these articles, they just tell you the basic shit. Hey, watch your money. Don't spend more than you make. Don't take out more student loan debt than you need. Shout out to NYC for the $9.99 super chat. I'm a PhD, personal high debt. Oh yeah, personal high debt. Yeah, paying my tuition. Paying my tuition. LJ, peace. SMD family, appreciate it. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Andre. It's amazing. It's amazing to see. It's just amazing to watch. It's amazing to see how they do you debt slaves. They just do you guys so dirty. I mean, let me stop saying that. You do yourselves so dirty. They're not doing anything to you. Okay. All right, let's get this last one. Let me see this last one. Close that. All right, the reason why I picked this last one is because it's in the UK. Okay. Now, the reason why I picked this one, I want you guys to understand, it doesn't matter. As long as the economy is capitalist, is all I care. I don't care what kind of money they use. I don't care that the pound symbol is different than the money symbol we have. It doesn't matter. You go to the UK, they just say, hey, we're capitalists and this is the money that we use here. Okay, whatever. All right. I don't care what it looks like. I don't care if the Queen's face is on the money, just like the presidents are on ours. And who cares? That just says, hey, we're in charge. That's it. All right, so let me bring this up. Dang, I got all kind of stuff opened up here. Just a second here. Dang it, that's not it. All right, Chrome tab. All right, last one. Now, this is in the UK. Okay, this is not here. All right, but I want you guys to understand it doesn't make any difference. As the UK economy is capitalist, so it doesn't matter what the majority of the people there are in debt. That's the only way it can work. Okay, homeowner right off the bat, right there, that you guys are calling a homeowner. The only person that's a homeowner is the person who pays cash for the home. So whatever the majority of debt slaves, you guys must believe your homeowners with 30 or 40-year mortgages. If you call yourself a homeowner with a 30 or 40-year mortgage, that's your problem. Okay. She's 31, so they're targeting the young adults. Okay. Explains how she intends to pay less interest on her mortgage repayments. Okay. So She got a mortgage, but she's going to tell you how to pay less interest on something that she shouldn't have got in the first place. Okay, she's going to tell us how to do that. A young woman in her early 30s who has recently purchased her first home by herself in Leeds. Okay, she didn't purchase anything. She didn't purchase nothing by herself. The bank helped her do it. Okay, if she purchased by herself, she wouldn't have a mortgage. Okay, people with mortgages, that automatically by default tells you they didn't buy the house themselves because they have a mortgage. Okay, in Leeds, obviously they're somewhere in the UK, London somewhere, has shared exactly how she did it despite having just one income to rely on. First-time homebuyer Beth Noonington says it's not easy to get a mortgage as a single person, but it is possible. I'm sure it is. They ain't gonna leave you out. That's good money. Beth Noonington may be only 31, but she has a wise head on her shoulders. She has just bought her first home in Leeds. She didn't buy anything. They keep repeating bought. She didn't buy anything. But that's for you guys to believe you can buy a home with a mortgage, okay? Her first home in Leeds in the middle of in a global pandemic, which is the worst time especially if you have no money to buy a house and you get a mortgage in a global pandemic. Only debt slaves do that, okay? Especially when you got no money, all right? You finance a house in the middle of a worldwide pandemic, all right? Despite the fact that she has just one income to rely on, undeniably, she has had to make a few compromises along the way. But she says not only is it possible, but she has a plan in place to make sure she pays less interest over the long term. This is how she did it. Buying a property for the first time isn't easy, like many other young aspiring homeowners. Nobody's a homeowner when you get a mortgage. Keep saying that. Beth Noonington has struggled to get to where she is today. Despite this, okay, they're doing some kind of buildup of a sob story. Okay, they're building you up to say, "Wow, look, she's hard. She's a single mom, a single person, low income. She's doing it by herself." They're working it up to the grand finale. Despite this, she bought her first home. She didn't buy anything in Leeds during the pandemic, and not only that, but she has a plan in place. Okay, they keep repeating the same thing over. Because she is a sole owner, she had to opt for a repayment schedule spanning over 35 years. She got a mortgage with payments of 35 years, but she's going to explain to you how she's going to save on some interest. And she just got a loan for 35 years. Okay, I'm all ears. I'm ready to listen. All right. But she said that she plans on paying it off much earlier than this. The bank already knows she's not going to pay it off early. You know why? Because she got a 35-year mortgage. That's why. Only a debt slave will get a 35-year mortgage. She's 31. She's 31 now. 66? She plans on paying. Oh, but she's going to do it earlier. 35 years? If you sign a document saying you're going to pay on something for 35 years of your life, the bank already knows you're a debt slave because only a debt slave would ever do such a thing. You're promising money. Listen, she's promising money that she hasn't even made yet. She hasn't even made the money yet, and she promised it to the bank, but she's going to tell you how to save interest. That makes absolutely no sense. Okay, Beth said, I bought my first house at 31. You keep telling us over and over again. They must be fluffing this article up or something. All myself. You didn't. You got a mortgage. The bank helped you. During a global pandemic, you told us how much of an idiot you are. We already saw that. When it came to setting my repayment schedule, I maxed out the number of years. 35 meant the mortgage payments were at low. They sure were a lot lower over 35 years. You better believe it's low. I'm surprised it ain't $2. Hey, yeah, 35 years, $2 a month. Yeah, that's it, $2. At 31, you keep telling us, 35 years of payments, already unrealistic, sure is. But Beth wants to make sure she doesn't throw away thousands of pounds in interest, actually plans to pay it back. Well, okay, you said that already. You ain't told us no answers yet. She explains, I took out a mortgage loan for 2 years. I just took out a mortgage loan for 2 years. as not only did this have the lowest interest rate, but I also hoped that in 2 years' time, I will be in a better position to reduce the number of years to a lot less, meaning that I would pay less. I don't know what that means. She just told us she got a 35-year repayment plan, but she took out a mortgage for loan for that does I don't know what that means. Maybe that's something over in the UK, and that kind of shit that doesn't make any sense. All I need to know is that if she signed up for 35 years, that 2-year loan, whatever, that's just another bank something to get more money. I promise you. I promise you. I don't even need to understand it. This option could help her. This option could help other first-time home buyers of similar age because they're looking for you young adults. They're trying to get you guys in early, get you guys wrapped up because you guys are the prime age. You guys don't know. You guys believe what you see on TV. You get a house with a mortgage. No, you don't. Only people with mortgages would tell you to get a mortgage. People that own their homes, they're not going to tell you to get a mortgage. Okay. Property. What she say? The first-time home buyers, similar age, get on the property ladder to start with, in hope that their situation will improve. Hoping that your situation will improve as they age. Hoping that your money you start making better money when you just. However, many people in best positions struggle to even save a deposit, but with a few simple changes, it is possible. She insisted. I was able to achieve this goal by saving small amounts each month after university. If it was just $10, Beth explained, she didn't save anything. She got a 35-year payment plan, okay? I formed a really good habit of always transferring money into my savings account that I couldn't easily access on the first of every month. I guarantee you she got student loans. Of course, I still used interest-free credit cards and my what? Of course, I still used interest-free credit cards and my free overdraft. Okay, listen. If you are using your overdraft, that means you're overdrafting your account. If you're overdrafting your account, you have no money. This is why she's using interest-free credit cards, because she's overdrafting her account because she has no money. She's telling you right there she has no money. And free overdraft. Banks that advertise free overdraft, they're talking to debt slaves because only debt slaves overdraft their accounts because they don't know they don't have any money. Okay. But I always saved. That whole sentence doesn't make any sense at all. None. I became quite addictive seeing the numbers increase. And as I was always fortunate enough to be in full-time employment, I saved most months. In the 18 months before buying, and she saved most months. So that means she didn't save all those 18 months, okay? She didn't save all those 18 months. I really pushed myself hard to save and cut back. I bought less clothes, takeaways, and unnecessary items, and I moved to a much cheaper location in Leeds, cutting my rent by $250 a month. Paul Elliott, head of mortgages, another advertisement. Said it's becoming more and more commonplace for people to buy a house on their own, although it can be pretty daunting. Who else are you supposed to buy a house with? When they keep saying their own, who are you supposed to buy a house with? Your friends, your boyfriend, girlfriend? Why they keep repeating that? Oh, it's a big deal if you buy a house on yourself. Why? Why is it a big deal? They want to make sure two of you guys get wrapped up in there, okay? He said it's true buying your first home by yourself. There they go again. Can be a pretty big hill to climb. No, it's not, but it's nothing you can't handle, okay? Single homeowners usually don't tend to opt for large, expensive family homes. Why would they? They're just by themselves. So getting onto the property ladder and buying your first smaller home is achievable goal. If you rented prior to applying your first mortgage, you'll know that additional costs such as, oh, goodness gracious. Okay, I'm getting bored with this article too. Despite said the young people are using to rent could discover that they actually better off. Despite this, He said that young people who are used to rent could discover they actually are better off. Not sure. Saying you're better off getting a mortgage. He added monthly rental payments can actually be more expensive than a standard monthly rental payments. Oh, here they go with saying rent is more money than mortgage. So they're basically saying young people go get a mortgage. Okay, mortgage. So you may be surprised to have learned that you could potentially save more by buying your home rather than continuing to rent. So they're telling you you could save more money by going deeper in debt with a mortgage. But when you rent, you don't, like, say like the house is 300,000, and when you got rent, you don't have $300,000 in debt. So they're saying instead of rent, go get $300,000 in debt and you save more money. Does that make any sense? It makes absolutely no sense. None. Okay. Okay. By applying, make sure you have all relevant information documents. There's no such thing. Well, of course, as soon as they run your credit, they're going to know if you're a debt slave right away. They're going to know right away. That's what you guys don't really understand the purpose of credit reports. It tells them everything they need to know about you. As a general rule of thumb, single people can borrow between 4.5 and 6 times their income, but it will, of course, depend on individuals. They let you borrow 4.5 and 6 times your income. Mm, mm, mm. All right, 1 second, you guys. I got to put on this AC. I think my all right. If you're new to the channel, I hope you're just paying attention and watching. Uh, I'm gonna say this one more time, okay? My gift is the ability to see negative numbers psychologically. Uh, as I read these articles, and that's you in there, and you say you say to yourself, "That's me." You're what's called a debt slave. You're a debt slave. That's what they do to you. It's business. It's nothing to get you in mortgage debt and student loan debt. That's just business. It's your problem if you don't trust mathematics. That's totally your problem. I mean, it's bad too. It's really bad. These articles be killing me, and they put them on these channels. I mean, these websites, Yahoo Finance, and honestly, when I go read articles like this on Yahoo Finance, I just read to see what the slaves are doing, what they're telling you guys to do, what they're doing to scare you into getting deep. Maybe they want you guys to get mortgage debt deeper or something. I don't know, like that. Like they always put that rent versus mortgage. Like, stop throwing away money on rent. You guys spread that shit like you guys just spread it like it's nothing. What do you mean you don't throw away money on rent? That's not true. That's not true. If you're renting and you got some people around you that financed the house with a subprime mortgage, and they're trying to make you feel bad for renting, you just say, "Do you got a mortgage?" You ask them, "Do you got a mortgage?" Yeah. Don't listen to them. They're debt slaves. They have mortgages. It doesn't matter if they know it or not. That's irrelevant. The majority must remain slaves. That's how capitalist economies work. As the debt slaves go around, uh, talking about investing and telling you about gold and silver and the dollar, and when the president dropped the gold standard, didn't back the dollar. Anybody talking to you like that, you ask them, "Do you got student loan debt?" Yeah, don't listen to them. They have no idea. They're just reading what they saw on Google. They put it there for them to read, to make them think that it has something to do with that. That's important. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what they think. Like, for example, let me give you an example. Imagine a debt slave that has a safe in their house, right? And they decided to put some diamonds and a couple of bars of gold in that safe. but they have $200,000 in student loan debt. A debt slave doesn't know that they don't have diamonds and gold in the safe. The safe is not even there. Neither is the house that they're in that houses the safe. None of it exists. So they're locking up nothing. It doesn't exist. They have student loan debt. Nothing exists for them. What's up, Cosmic? What's up, brother? Truth be told, NYC. That article might be geared. I mean, they put the single woman in there, brother. They might be gearing to single women buying homes for some reason. Maybe they want single women to get homes, and they make it like it's a big deal for a single person to buy a house, which is not. That's another thing they're pushing for some reason. They're like, hey, maybe a lot of people are waiting till they get with somebody to help them buy a home. Maybe that's taking too long, so they're pushing for people that are single. So they're going to start making it easier for single people to get houses or something. I don't know why they're really doing it. Mortgage equal rent with interest plus repair. Shoot them in the dome for being stupid. Long time no see, Cosmic. Welcome. It's just crazy. You see this like that article with the $550,000 in student loan debt, and you hear him saying things like, "Oh, I'm not going to sacrifice my kids. My kids are going to. They deserve it. Nothing's." They do that for you guys to have the same attitude. Like I said earlier, instead of looking at your kids and saying, "Hey, kids, I fucked up. I didn't save for your college." You go out and get federal student loans in your 50s, and you haven't even paid back yours, and you have a mortgage, and you have a car payment. You're never getting out of debt ever. You know how many debt slaves they just don't know they're going to die? Debt slaves. You don't, man. You know how many debt slaves hire accountants who are in debt? You guys be paying a professional accountants that are in personal debt with student loan debt. You guys are hiring people with student loan debt older than their business. These are tax people, tax attorneys, professional accountants. You come across a professional and they still have their student loan debt. You say to them, why is your student loan debt older than your career? Why is your student loan debt older than your business? What are you giving me financial advice for if your student loan debt is older than everything in your life? Can you imagine if you create a team and your team consisted of a tax person, a tax professional who is debt free, an accountant who is debt free? You know how much the communication would be very minimal because everybody understands the rules. Debt free. There's a phantom income mix in the whole equation. You can't see it when you're in debt. I don't know how else to explain it to you, but it exists. If you have an accountant with student loan debt older than their business, you got to ask them, how did you buy this house if you've had student loans debt since your early 20s? So how'd you do that? Then they're gonna run through something. No, you say, hey, you're an accountant. I need you to show me this mathematically. How did you buy a house and your student loan debt is older than everything in your life? How'd you do that? You show me mathematically. Don't tell me why, what happened, your situation. You show me on an Excel spreadsheet. They're all good with that kind of shit. They're all good with that. Put it in an Excel spreadsheet explaining why your student loan debt is older than your children, your business, your house, your marriage, everything. Explain that, mathematically speaking. What's up, Jaws? I was just talking to a single mom the other day about having a home. She was complaining about all the repairs and maintenance required. Sure is. I don't know what I do know because you got to remember, debt slaves don't know the definition of buy. Debt slaves don't know the definition of homeowner. They don't know. Hey, I just bought a home. Cash? No, with a mortgage. Oh, okay. Well, shit. They don't know they didn't buy anything. They know single people don't need a home because they don't need that much. So they make it easier and affordable to get. Yeah, that's true, Dave. They do. That's what they do. And it sounds like when I see stuff like that, those articles make it they make it more comfortable for people to get in debt. That's what they're designed for. It's just business. Again, it's just business. Just business. Yeah, student loan older than your career. Frenchelle says, any young kids trying to figure out a profession to become a bankruptcy lawyer, you will always be employed. You sure will. That is a good idea, Frenchelle. If you want to be a bank, I say this, if you want to be always employed, become a debt-free bankruptcy lawyer. You will always be employed. Always, always. You will have the advantage over all the bankruptcy lawyers that are in debt. I'm going to say that one more time. If you want a guaranteed career and you like it, you got to like that kind of field, right? Become a debt-free bankruptcy lawyer. You will always be employed until the end of time. I promise you. Okay. You will have the advantage over all the people in your field who are in debt. That goes for college. That goes for you want to be a professional tax person? Become a debt-free tax person. You want to become an IRS agent? Become a debt-free IRS agent. You will be the best IRS agent. You will be the best tax attorney, the best tax preparer. All you got to do is be debt-free. Debt slaves won't have a chance at all because they don't know it exists. They don't know negative numbers, seeing negative numbers psychologically. They don't know that. Hell, debt slaves can't even see negative numbers physically, even when you show them on a calculator. So some can't see them physically either. No, it's not. I mean, it's not a scam. Okay, tell me this, Aaron. What makes college a scam? Tell me that. To me, when I look at college, I just see a business. That's just like going to Walmart for me. College, I look at like Home Depot. I look at college like Target. I look at college like Chick-fil-A. It's just a business. They're not tricking anybody. Cosmic says, hope that father that has $500,000 of debt didn't add his kids to those loans. If he did, then they inherit the debt. No, what he did, they got their own student loan debt. He made them get $20,000 each in student loan debt. Show me how you did it and you're not in debt. Yeah, exactly. Show me how you did it and not in debt. He says, you have to pay. You don't have to pay any taxes on your capital gains in stock market if you make 44 as a single individual or you're married and make 80. Yeah, I guess what I'm saying with that heat, if you're in debt, don't worry about capital gains, don't worry about don't worry about the singles or the married cap limits. Don't worry about any of that because if you're in debt, you have no money to invest. So don't even worry about capital gains, paying taxes on the profits and all this other stuff. Just stop because you have no money. What, he let them go into debt too? Yeah, he did. $20,000. He said in the article, it says he wanted them to have a vested interest in their education. So they got $20,000 in student loan debt each. And then they show this big happy family picture. Mm. Any questions on the articles? Any questions? Any questions on the articles? 100 Years a Slave for sure. That is crystal clear. Yeah, that's clear, Andre. That's clear. Sometimes sometimes I sit back and think, and I'm like, man, there are going to be people that are going to die never knowing what freedom is. They're gonna die never knowing, thinking they own something. You got to remember that debt slaves' whole life is a mathematical illusion. They're living the American dream due to their own fault. Nobody's doing anything. The IRS taxes are not keeping them down. Taxes are too high. It's like this. I said this earlier in the community. Let me explain something to you. Taxes are the keys to wealth. Taxes. Taxes are the only guaranteed ROI investment, guaranteed returns every single year. Taxes. But if you're in debt, you can't do it. You can't see it. You have no idea what I'm talking about. You probably, just like all the other debt slaves, thinking that taxes are bad and evil and it's preventing you from getting ahead. And then you start cheating on your taxes. You guys start doing things that make no mathematical sense, but you guys don't know you're doing it. You guys all do the same thing. You guys are so easy to catch. Getting money, pretending that you didn't get it, buying shit. You guys do this. The majority of you guys will make some money. Sometimes you guys create a successful business and you totally forget about paying your taxes. You guys will upgrade your house, your car, your clothes, go on more vacations, totally forgetting about the tax part. You guys all do the same thing. So what they do is just let you bury yourself nice and deep, let you go about a 3, 4, 5-year run without paying your taxes, and then come knocking on the door. Hey, yeah, we sent you about 5 letters. You responded to none. So we had to come out to the house. Yeah, we went to your old address. Yeah, before you started this business, we went to your old address. You didn't live there. Said you moved out of there a couple years ago. We looked on our records. You used to have two old Honda Accords, but now you guys got 2 Escalades. Brand new house. You guys went from a 2-bedroom to a 5-bedroom house in the better part of town here. It was kind of hard for us to catch up with you. You guys moved a couple times over the 5 years because you guys were making some money. Yeah, by the way, yeah, you guys owe this much in tax money. Oh yeah, we just come by because we know you ain't got it, because we can see everything. So we know you don't have it. Guess what? You owe us that plus penalties and fees. Yeah, huh? Oh yeah, if you don't do that, you're going to go to jail. So which one's your point? Which one you going to do? Payments or go to jail? We thought you would make payments. You can't become wealthy without paying your taxes. You can't do that. Once you get out of debt, you will clearly see the purpose of taxes. You'll say, oh, you don't have to cheat. No, you don't got to cheat. You don't have to cheat. That's why the penalties are so severe, because you don't have to cheat. Only slaves cheat. That's why that's why you guys are so easy to find. You better hope they never come to me asking to train some IRS agents or something like this. Man, you guys are in trouble. I'll be like, hey, are most of your agents in debt or debt free? The majority must be in debt, so it's probably a large part of them are in debt. They probably have different departments. They probably got IRS agents that are in personal debt. Then they got another department where IRS agents are not in debt, because they know those agents can see something that those agents cannot. And I promise you this: if you've been in debt all your life and you're not paying your taxes right, you don't got a chance. You guys come up with these schemes that you're going to hide here, create a shell company here, put it in your mama's name. And then, no, that doesn't work. You guys all do that. You guys all do that. You guys all do the same thing. What'd you say, Jaws? Look at what they did to Robert F. Smith I'm not sure who that is. All those folks claiming PPP loans, IRS is coming. Yeah. You see how easy they made it to get those PPP loans? Mhm. Put that shit right on a hook. That's how they make slaves. Can you imagine? Imagine a person that went out and fraudulently, illegally got a PPP loan and you have student loan debt. That combination there, ooh, woo, you ain't never getting out. I can only imagine you have about $100,000 in student loan debt, and then you go out and fraudulently get $100,000 in PPP loans. You're done. Yeah, you're done. You ain't never getting out from under that, never. Because only debt slaves would risk the time in their life for money. Only debt slaves would do that. If you're risking the time in your life for green pieces of worthless paper, you're a debt slave. Because they tell you right on the central. Let me see. Let me put it up here so you guys can understand something here. Let me see. Let me bring this up. Okay, here we go. All right, I'm gonna paste this here. I always check this every now and then. Okay, it's still 14 cents. They make $100 bill for 14 cents. There's the link. Now, if they give it to you and you believe it's worth 100, that's your problem, debt slave. That's your problem. Because they clearly say that the central banks, they say, hey, this is how much we make money for right here. Look, pennies on the dollar. Everything after that is profit. So if they make $100 bill and it cost them 14 cents, that means they made a what? A $99.86 profit? What's up, Cosmic?
Hey, LJ. Long time no see. I
I
wanted
know.
to
I
ask
figure
a
you've been busy.
question.
Mm-hmm.
I've been busy and enjoying the last days of summer. So, but about that renting versus buying, I bought a house, but I also mortgaged some houses, and I rent. So, and maybe this is a question I'm noticing here. A lot of people getting displaced from places and areas they've rented for years. For an example, there's about 5 neighborhoods where rent historically has been around $900 for a house, and now those same houses are at $1,700, and that switched over within the past 2 years. So I'm just trying to mull over. When do you think, if you can, I guess, buy or finance a house conservatively, would you tell people to rent knowing that these price jumps could happen where you can be priced out of an area you may want to stay in long term? So I'm just trying, when I'm hearing these stories, I'm kind of doing an internal battle of what would you tell people in those situations from your perspective?
I would say log into your bank account and tell me, do you have enough money to buy a house? And then they would say
I
no.
mean,
Then
it's
I say,
not
yeah.
me. I already got a.
No, not you.
Oh, okay. You're talking about them. Okay.
Them. When I talk to you, Cosmic, you just sometimes you say things because that's just not your world. So you be trying to understand. You be trying to understand that word. You be
Exactly.
like, what? But this doesn't apply to you. I'm talking about them. I would say log into your bank account. Do you have enough money to buy it? No, then don't worry about it. You have to rent.
Mm-hmm. Okay, because I was, and the sad thing of it is when these prices were cheap, I'm talking about 50K, move-in ready. They didn't want to get it at that price, and now they're like 400 plus. So unfortunately, I just got to tell them that area isn't for them anymore, because I know their savings minus debt won't do that. But that is the downside of assuming rents will stay the same forever, because I don't know about where you at, LJ. I'm seeing rents double, almost triple in some areas. So I don't know If that's what you're
I
seeing
would,
in your
if that
market,
happened, I would just have to move. I ain't got no choice because I ain't got no money to buy a
yeah,
house.
yeah, that's true.
With a house I
And
want.
unfortunately, yeah, now they can't rent nor buy in said
Right.
area, unfortunately.
Right. And so they,
And I saw
people,
somebody
all they
say,
got to do is if they get out of debt, they won't have to worry about inflation and high rents because you always have money.
yeah, but I guess here's the rub. There's a lot of people in these areas that had paid off houses, and they're elderly. And I'm seeing property taxes because I have a house that tripled. The property values tripled. And even these elderly homeowners who paid off their house, they're at a point now where they can't afford the new property tax increase. So I'm seeing it, at least in my market, from all sides of people in distress.
Well, I would say like this: if they're elderly with a paid off house, I'll be like, how long have you had a paid off house? If it's been 20 years, the tax increase shouldn't be nothing to pay. That shouldn't be anything. Because if you ain't if you haven't had a house payment in 20 years, you have plenty of money for taxes. Plenty.
Yeah.
So it counts.
And I know,
did the elderly person just pay it off when they were 70? Okay, and the tax increase. All right, I get it. They got kicked out because they didn't do it right.
no, I think they're just on a fixed income on Social Security. So I guess the property tax increases aren't keeping pace with their Social Security checks. I don't think they had any other.
If I heard that, I'd be like, you're living off of Social Security? Why? Why are you living off of Social Security? When I think about retirement, my plans are not to live off Social Security. I don't really think about that. I don't think like that. So if they're living off Social Security, they obviously did something financially wrong in their life.
Yeah.
Because is that your plan, Cosby?
Yeah, I'm just
planning to live off of Social Security, or is that your plan?
Of course not.
Exactly. See what I'm saying?
If I can get a case of beer from my Social Security check, I'll call it a victory. Right. I really don't factor in, but that's not me. I'm just getting a lot of calls from people that are in distress, and before I buy their homes from them, I always try to help people in their situation if I can before taking advantage of them. And I don't know, I see International Minded hopped on. I'm not sure if you have a perspective you wanted to share. I'm just trying to make sure I'm thinking through all the cases, LJ. And like getting your perspective on things. Oh, he hopped off.
He'll be back in. Something must have happened. No, it's just, you know what it is? You're looking at it from, first you're adding your feelings. Okay. And I'm not saying that that's good or bad. I'm just saying you're adding your feelings in business, right? But you want to help them. But if they're living off of their Social Security, you already know they're in trouble. You already know what you're gonna do. Give them money. How you gonna help them?
I'm gonna get that house from them and pay those back taxes.
That's helping yourself.
Well, I'm helping them get released from their obligations too.
True.
But they don't before I just take a house. Yeah, before I take a house, at least I try to walk them through their choices, but their choices are limited. So, that's what I'm seeing.
Yeah, if you're there, that means they're already in trouble, because if somebody had a paid off house and they had the money to pay their taxes and you're not even talking to them because they own their house. You see what I'm saying? Cosmic won't be asking, hey, you want to sell your house, because they own it.
Yeah. And I guess somebody asked, where am I? I'm in Ohio, guys. It's not like I'm in LA or some major market. Like, I'm in Cincinnati. So I'm just telling you, this isn't a big market, right? So if I'm saying it in Cincinnati, it's gonna be rough. And the crazy thing of it is, LJ, we didn't do an eviction moratorium here in my county. They've been evicting people the whole time. So we don't have a backlog of evictions. So I can just imagine the markets that who actually followed the federal eviction mandate. It'll probably be way worse than other markets than what I'm seeing here.
Yeah, it's just,
Go ahead. hmm And
Are you on,
international
Andre?
minus
I don't know. I don't know if he's on. You clear?
Yeah, it's a little spotty. You hear me okay?
Yeah. Go ahead. You got it.
Yeah.
No, I just want to add a little bit to that. Part of what we're seeing now with the prices, with the rent, rent is driven by several factors, but one of the major factors is what investors pay for a property, right? So
hmm
if they're looking at a cap rate and they start doing math, particularly if they're young, early 30s or something, and they haven't been through a couple cycles yet, they overpay, right? They pay $500,000 for a $300,000 property. They do a little math, and they come up with the rent has to be double. But they're not very good at determining if the market can handle those rates. And this is something you typically see at the end stages of a real estate boom. You've got people coming in, buying properties. They, put some paint on it or replace the toilet, and then they want to charge double the rent. And usually what ends up happening is that they end up going bankrupt. They end up in a downturn, and a more experienced, more well-capitalized investor comes in and buys it for pennies on the dollar from the bank, and then the rents get put back in line with reality. So that's one thing I would say that. But however, what she's addressing is that in the meantime, there is displacement. That is a fact, and
Yeah.
and you can see, and usually you will see this with gentrification. Properties that have been that are in the dying inner city part of that particular area. The properties are very, very low. They've got elderly people that are passing away, like a whole generation is passing away. You see a lot of vagabond or abandoned homes. Maybe someone passed away and the kids live in a different state, and they inherited it, but they really don't care about it. And then eventually, particularly new investors will come in there because the property values are low and start saying, "Hey, this is a great investment. I'll paint it, I'll replace the toilet and double the rent or rent it out." This usually doesn't work long term unless there's a government, unless the government is involved in improving those areas. That will, of course,
Andre,
bring in.
yeah, and in Andre, there is no buildable land in Cincinnati, so these areas are the gentrification is fueled by our government because there is no land to build. They have to step in to seize properties. So I think those rents aren't going down. We've had a rental shortage here for the past 4 years. I mean, it's so extreme that they're giving landlords like $5,000 bounties to get a place to put up for rent. And that's they've been doing that even before the pandemic. The pandemic's just got it at a frenzy, unfortunately. I mean, and I think, what was it? Jaws knows when you go outside of Cincinnati, we have major cities all around. So you can't even leave the city because you're going to go into another city. It's like a big megalopolis. Even north, south, east, west, you're going to bump into a city. So we're at a point you can't even go out of the city because you're going to go into the next one. Like Louisville, Lexington, Dayton, like it's not that much room to spread. And I think that's what's driving the situation here.
Yeah. Each metropolitan area is different. There's plenty parts of the country. Matter of fact, it is the standard that to be the opposite of what you're talking about. Typically, what you have is suburban sprawl. So you have a small city, and it expands out, and expands out, and expands out, and it can become quite large. So usually, those areas are built on growth and debt. So they expand. They kind of expand on their own. In these more landlocked areas, yes, you can get higher than average rents for the property for equal properties. But the issue there is that they tend to be quite bit more cyclical. Those markets. You tend to see more up and down. In terms of the not in terms of the price of the homes, but in terms of the qualified renters. So that can be an issue. But I just wanted to add a couple 2 cents in there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm seeing people, LJ, spending $250,000 just for a foundation. That's what you get, just for the foundation, because it's a lot of hills in Cincinnati. So they'll buy wooded lots, clear the trees, which is not cheap. Then you have to drill down to the bedrock, put metal rods, and pour the foundation. So it's just crazy from what I see. But thank you guys for your inputs. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for jumping on. Appreciate it, Cosmo.
Yeah, there is one thing I wanted to address with you, LJ, and that's what you kind of touched on with the Social Security, because I'm coming across that a lot now, because more and more people are retiring, and they're figuring out that they made some terrible mistakes with their retirement. Traditional 401ks and IRAs, I was putting this in the chat, they are taxed as ordinary income. But here's the issue. If you have, for example, RMDs, required minimum distributions, while you're getting Social Security, you could have the highest tax of your income in your lifetime. Because, a lot of times, frequently, people have paid off their property, or it's close to the end of paying off their property. So I do worry about that. A lot of people have assumptions about what their retirement's going to look like, and a lot of them are really upset, and they feel like they've been taken advantage of because of how the system works. Because there are zones in terms of taxation where your Social Security will become taxed. Because it's taxable income usually when it comes from a traditional IRA, and usually they're too old, they work for too long, and they can't do Roth conversions without having this pretty much the same effect in terms of taxation. So when you look at this stuff from particularly if you're young, just out of college or something, you can't just live year to year. You gotta kind of take into consideration your entire lifespan from cradle to grave, and plan accordingly. I don't want people to get bogged down and not live their lives, but for example, I'm seeing way too often that the younger generations are buying too much house. I don't know if it's because their friends bought it or their realtor told them that, they did a little calculation, figured out how much they can afford, but it's not, they have no assets, right? How it used to be done back in the day, you would start with a starter home. It wouldn't be pretty, it'd be older, you'd have to fix it up, and there'd be repairs, but you could afford it, and build up so-called equity. And then you would move on to your next home. You go from your starter home to the home that typically you raise your children in. And I'm seeing that they're kind of jumping, into a bracket where they shouldn't be, and they're really setting themselves up for disaster, actually. And I usually don't get to talk to them because most of the time the people I talk to are late 50s, 60s, and so on. I don't really get the opportunity to talk to the younger generation frequently. And those are things they need to be concerned with. Initially, don't buy too much house. From what I've seen for the few that I've had contact with, they're buying probably double the house. I'm talking about dollars and cents wise. They're probably buying double the house that they should. And the other thing is that, the ones that are saving, they're putting a bunch of money into their traditional IRAs. And I just wanted to make them aware that could end up being a pretty serious problem if they have a significant savings in a traditional IRA. It could completely ruin their retirement, where more than half of their income is just going to taxes. And a lot of them are not prepared for that.
Yeah, I mean, you're fighting against social media. I mean, you're fighting against social media, TV. Where the young people, they're not trying to. They're like, retirement's years away. I don't have to worry about that at 55 or whatever. I think, honestly, Andre, I think that's why they pretend to set the age of retirement. So say like they said it was 65, and you talk to a 20-year-old, they're going to be like, retirement's not so sick, because they think retirement's an age. So they're going to think they got a long ways to worry about that, when they don't realize retirement's not an age, and it's going to be by the time they realize that, it's going to be too late.
Yeah, it's definitely a program. If you look at how it's, 18 when you graduate high school, 22 when you graduate college, unless you take on a degree, you start working, you add a 30-year mortgage and 10 years for retirement savings, and then you get you hit up right up against 65. Yeah. 60, 65. So if you're following that plan, then if you're following that plan, that's it just doesn't have to be like that. That's the only thing I want to say about that. It's just it doesn't have to be that way.
That's just the program. I mean,
yeah.
I followed the program. I went through it. Luckily, I woke up at 40. Thank God. That was like, to me, 40 is like borderline from waking up. That's just like, okay, all right. Thank God I woke up.
Yeah, the sad stories I get is when they're already they're already knocking on the door of their Social Security. Some of them are 62, some 65, and they have no savings. They may have a house paid off, but I'm finding even more and more that they still have a quarter to go, or so. And yeah, it's really bad, because
what do you tell them? What do you tell them they have to do? I mean, what do you say?
Well, the first thing I always tell them is that they have to pay off their house as quickly as possible, and they don't want to hear that, because they don't understand, like you were saying, phantom income, or what we call in the industry imputed income.
What do you call it? What do you call it?
Imputed income.
Imputed income.
Yeah. IMPUTED, imputed income. It's similar to what you say for phantom income, but here's the issue. You can't serve multiple masters, right? So you can't save for your, and what they're struggling to do. They realize that they're behind the 8 ball, and they have limited time left, and they want to save, and they're trying to save nearly their entire salary. To try to build up, because they wasted time, so they're trying to max out their retirement funds, their retirement accounts, and while paying a mortgage, right? So I no, and I go through the math. It's a lengthy process, but I go through the math in Excel spreadsheet and show them that what they need to do is pay off their home as quickly as possible, because it's a cash flow issue, right?
Right.
The cash can't go 2 places at once. Right. You can't put it in your retirement and put it in your mortgage into your home. And here's an additional thing. Some of them, what I have to do, because they're they can't really work anymore, or they have limited capacity to work. And I tell them, look, you have to give up on owning this home. You have to turn it into a reverse mortgage and use that cash flow. And
they ain't trying to hear you.
Try to make it.
What are they responding with that when you say something like that come out of your mouth? What are they responding with?
I'll talk to somebody else. I'll find somebody else.
Do you say? I knew you were going to say that. Nice meeting you. No.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not mean to them or anything, but the facts are the facts. There's no getting around it.
Right,
if you didn't save anything, and you're 59 or 60 years old, and you're I mean, you could delay your Social Security out to 70, let's say, but how does that help you if you have a mortgage? If you're still paying a mortgage, right? So, and this happens even with business owners. And I tell them, look, I tell them, well, they want to expand. I'm like, you have no money to expand or do anything. Right. You have a mortgage and you have student loans. You need to pay those off. Let me tell you, they really, because they're professionals and they know, they really don't want to hear that. I mean, that's where I really get for serious pushback. Because they may have a $2 million or $3 million a year business gross revenue, and I'm they hired me, or they get referred to me for consulting, and that's the first thing I go through. And then I'm like, why? Because my rule of thumb is generally the owner shouldn't take out more than about 10% of the profits of a business, right? Mm-hmm. But typically they take out 25, 30, 35%.
You mean paying themselves? You mean by paying themselves?
What they take in a salary. And then I go and I tell them, I say, okay, why are you taking so much out in salary? Let me see your personal balance sheet, your personal stuff. And then, there's a mortgage on a house, there's a mortgage on a vacation house, all the cars are mortgaged. They've got children and all their cars are I'm sorry, not mortgage, finance. And I'm like, the reason why you have to take 35% out is because everything's financed, And then, oh my God, to explain some about the mortgage deduction, LJ. No, it's like a religion. It's like what? I'm gonna lose my deduction. Oh, okay, yeah. I'm gonna lose my deduction. I'm like, you can't. You didn't just say that out loud. You didn't actually just say that out loud. But anyway, it is what it is.
That's the program, though. That's the program. Yeah. I guarantee if they came to you and you talk like that, they've never heard anybody talk like that to them ever.
No, usually I would say because I have to stick to my principles. I can't lie to them to get paid. So I have to tell them what it is, the truth of what it is. Right. And let me tell you, 99% don't want to hear it. It's a fraction of a fraction and even the ones that do listen, they'll listen to, for example, some of the stuff I tell them for their on the business side, but they won't listen on the personal side. And the personal side is where the real losses occur. Correct. It's really sad because how the story's gonna end.
Right. You already know
it's going to be divorce. It's going to be they lose the business. It's just sad stories over.
Well, in the biggest picture, they don't really own the personally or business. They don't own nothing.
Exactly. They own nothing. And then when you but these are the thing. The thing is when you tell them something simple like pay off your house, or even before that, pay off all of your debts. Just buy everything cash.
Right.
It's I don't know. It's like I slapped their kid or something, or grabbed their wife's ass, or I don't know. They get really emotional. There's a serious emotional response to it.
Right.
And and that's just like you said, the matrix of programming.
It is.
It's the ones that bother me. The older, the 60, late 50s, early 60s, and I have to give them the bad news, and
give them the bad news.
And you see it on their face that like a betrayal. They feel like they've been betrayed. So
have you ever came across somebody that you gave them the truth like that, and they just was like, "Thank you"?
No, it's always a fight.
Wow.
It's always like that's why I told you I'm to the point where I really don't hardly do it anymore.
Right.
Because it's emotionally draining to tell someone you're trying to help them save themselves and their family, and they're going to fight with you and tell you that's I just don't have the time. I don't, I'm older now. I don't have the patience. I just
Right.
don't. I don't have the patience to
it's just the power of the matrix.
wrestle with
That's
them.
all it is. It's the power of the matrix. It is what it, I know. It's just hard because, especially when you care about people, you really do want the best for them, and you see them just taking themselves down. You just see them doing it, and it's hard to watch.
Yeah, it's rough. It's rough. I see a lot of and there's a lot of denial because I start showing them the numbers, and it's a slow decline, like boiling a frog. So they don't really see what's happening, but I've seen enough of it to know where it ends up with the probability of where it's going to end. And
especially age. Especially age, for a fact by age. If you're talking about retirement, you're 65 and you got $200,000 in student loan debt, you know how that's going to end.
Yeah. I mean, they've refinanced their house to buy cars. It's just, oh my God. And multiple times, like you said, a matter of fact, I don't think I've come across anyone who has, 6-figure plus income that hasn't refinanced their house at least once. They've all done it at least once, every single one. Because I do like a discovery process, and because you have to, part of what you have to figure out is their personality, their relationship with money, and that you can't do that. You have to figure out, okay, from high school or from college, kind of get a little bit of a background onto how, because these are behavioral things, and changing those behaviors at 60, it's just. And I'm talking about people that are on the brink, and you tell them, look, I can help you. I can fix this. You got to get rid of that. You got to get rid of. I remember telling this one guy that he had to get rid of. He had two like collector cars.
Okay.
Like you're not
CARS.
Cars, CARS.
Yeah,
yes.
Okay.
And I told him, look, you got to get rid of them. You got to sell them. There's no way, And this was part of the process to pay off the mortgage that would allow him to have the income so he could actually max out his retirement. And he refused. He said, "No, I'm not selling them. I'm never going to sell them." I was like, "Okay."
See, just like I said the other day, the guy with the transmission, he owed $500,000 to the IRS. He had a paid off house that was worth that much. I said, "Hey man, why don't you just sell that house and get out of that IRS debt?" He's like, "Nah, man. I can't, man. I put too much money in this house and blah, blah, blah." I was like, wow, the matrix is powerful. Yeah,
it is. It is. I mean, I used to be, I don't know if I'm just getting too old now. I used to be better at convincing them, at least on the business side, to change some things. But I don't know. I think they're seeing other people get wealthy. They're seeing particularly younger kids with the Bitcoin and all that, and are like,
right.
They feel like, no, I gotta, like they gotta jump on a hustle and try to quote unquote invest. And some of them, I ask them, I'm like, are you really trying to save up for retirement, or are you trying to double up or triple up? Are you trying to speculate? Because it doesn't make sense. Why all of a sudden now, when Robinhood is out, that you now all of a sudden want to max out your 401k,
Right.
So I think
it's the matrix. Congratulations to the designer or designers. Congratulations. It's powerful. I get it. Totally get it. It's brilliant, man. I mean, it's all by choice. Trust your calculator, you don't.
Yeah, it's funny because it really between 5 and 7 years you should be done paying for a house. At least even one that's let's say is a little bit beyond your means. Even like that, with you should be 5 to 7 years max.
This is what I meant to tell you too, Andre. I noticed throughout the years, before when I first started listening to Dave Ramsey,
right?
Throughout the years, Dave always says this: "I have nothing in my name."
Yes.
He always says that. I guarantee you his listeners don't hear him when he says that. He always says, "Nothing's in my name."
Yeah. That's
and at first I used to say that when I first started, I was like, why does he keep saying that? Why do we see? Nothing's in you. What do you mean? You're rich. This is what I'm thinking in my head. You're rich, Dave. How do you have nothing in your name? But I didn't understand what that meant at that time.
Yeah,
but now I clearly understand it.
Actually, you know what? Most of the time, I'm talking about the upper echelons now. They usually never take a mortgage deduction. You know why?
Because they don't have mortgages.
No, they have mortgages, but just not personally. Because when you buy a property in a business as an investment,
right,
you don't get the mortgage deduction. What you get instead is a depreciation.
Right.
Right? There's a depreciation schedule instead. Huh?
Because they know you know. That's why you don't get it. They say you're gonna pay something. Just because you know, you still gonna pay. You just gonna pay this way.
Yeah, the thing is, the mortgage deduction works against you too because it's declining over time as you pay, whereas the depreciation expenses even across the full time of ownership. Yes, so most of the time they never owned it, and the reason for that is that one of the greatest risks to wealth, if you've established some wealth, and is are lawsuits. Believe it or not. What? And I get a lawsuit.
What are you saying? What are you talking about?
With okay, let's say for example, you own a home and you have a Doberman Pinscher and he goes and bites the neighbor as he's walking.
Liability risk. Okay, I got
it. Yeah, the liability. Yeah, right. Absolutely. So frequently once you have any amount, and here's another thing, surprisingly, let's say for example, you have one guy has $1 million, another guy has 10 million, right? Mm. And they both experience the same judgment. The person who has $1 million actually has more risk. So let's say, for example, there's a judgment for $500,000. Mm. So that $500,000 judgment affects the millionaire much more than the 10 millionaire. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I frequently I'm trying to convince people that, let's say they make $200,000 to $250,000 a year, and then maybe they've got less than $1 million in net worth. And I tell them, you need protection more than Warren Buffett does. You need protection more than Bill Gates does. Yeah. Because Bill Gates can lose half and he still has $75 billion. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. There's no comparison between someone who's got $1 million and someone who has 10 million, or a family that has 100 million. If I'm saying it from the point of view of a liability. And anyway, they're better equipped. So, one of the things I tell them is get an umbrella policy, for example, especially particularly if they own a business. And umbrella policies are pretty cheap considering what the coverage you get. But you know what the pushback is? What? The pushback is, I have to have higher limits on my car insurance and my insurance on my home. And so
what?
So yeah, when you get an umbrella insurance, typically it requires for you to get higher limits on your car insurance, for example. So, for example, let's say, because then the reason for that is moral hazard. You don't want someone with a $2 million umbrella policy to be making claims every year. You know what I'm saying? Because their limits are low.
Gotcha.
So so the limits are significantly higher, and then they're like, well, I got to pay more for my. So it's just it's really difficult to explain these things because they really don't understand the concepts. Mm-hmm. And usually they I don't see them again until something bad happens, and then they're like, help me fix it. And I'm like, we could have prevented this whole thing. What do you want me to do now that you have a problem? What you need is a lawyer now. I can't help
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. We're trying to help them before the lawyer. Now,
yes.
Usually they need a lawyer when it's too late.
Absolutely. Right. So just for the younger generation, I want to say your biggest risk is and here's another thing, LJ, like we talk about valuing yourself and self-esteem. And one of the first things that I talk about is life insurance. And I mean, there's a good and bad life insurance, and most life insurance that's sold is actually sold poorly. I want to use that word, poorly. But I'm like, okay, you have insurance on your car, You have insurance on your mortgage. I mean, on your home that you don't own. That's actually the bank's house, right? You've got insurance on your dog,
Not yourself.
and you don't have insurance on yourself, and you have children.
Mm.
And make that make sense to me. This is usually one of those things where they're like, oh yeah, I'll call you back, and I don't hear back from them because I tell them just like how I'm saying it, I say it to them. Make that make sense to me. You have insurance on your car that you don't own. You're making payments on. You're making payments on a house that you also do not own.
Wow.
And you have insurance. They require it. But you don't have insurance on yourself? Make that make sense.
That just clicked to me, man. Thanks, Andre. I'll talk to you later, Andre. Thanks for jumping on. Appreciate you.
So, yeah, that's one of those things that now, unfortunately, the way that most life insurance is sold is bordering on criminal. But you got to have it, particularly if you have a wife or you have kids or anyone you care about.
That's how you create wealth really, really fast.
It is. I don't know of a single family that I've worked with that has over, let's say, that are 8 figures or more. In all cases, and I do mean all, life insurance has been a major factor to building and or extending the wealth of the family. In all cases, all of them. So yeah, it's important.
Knowledge passed down. That's what that is. That's knowledge.
Yeah.
This is what you do.
All right, so I'm going to jump off. Thank you for giving me some time to talk.
All right, man. I appreciate it as always. Appreciate you, man.
All right, bye.
Later. Shout out to HQTV for the £2.50. Hopefully I said that right. Shout out to HQTV. Appreciate it. What's up, Lessons Burn? All right, you guys. We've been on here almost 2 hours. Damn, that insurance thing, man. I honestly, throughout my life, I've never thought about it that way, the way he just said it. I have insurance on damn near everything else in my life, which didn't belong to me, which was required, by the way, by the banks. But I didn't ever think about getting insurance on myself. But you know what? When I think about that, unless the person that you're leaving this money to understands how money works, they're just going to blow that money and it'll be pointless. So say like I was good with money all my life. I knew to get an insurance policy, but I somehow didn't train my kids to be smart with money. And I die. So let's say like with $1 million policy and I die. What do you think my kids are going to do with that money? They're going to go blow it. They're going to go buy cars. And remember, when they don't know about money, they're even with $1 million, they still probably wouldn't buy a car in cash. They'll go and make payments. They'll go get a bigger house, make larger monthly mortgage payments, and so on and so forth. That's how people in the debt matrix do. They don't know. It'll be me being smart with money would be in vain. Like me learning this today, my kids were adults by the time I woke up. Like, you got to remember, I just discovered my gift, the ability to see negative numbers psychologically. I just discovered that like a year ago, maybe less than that, right? My kids are long grown now. So convincing them to become non-slave, I just gotta show them. I got to watch my videos. They got to watch my videos. They got to see what I'm doing and see the success I build. And then they're like, okay, my dad's right. Because right now, when you're young, you'd be like, oh, my dad didn't teach me that when I was, well, no, because I didn't know I was a debt slave. Now I am. But when you try to tell a grown person, especially a grown young adult inside the debt matrix, being bombarded with commercials and TV and cars and rims and celebrities and stuff like that, good luck. And the debt matrix, you guys got to understand, the debt matrix is very, very powerful. Very powerful. Very powerful. People getting debt free, but people get sucked back in. It's so easy. Start justifying payments. They start justifying in their head, oh, it's okay to make car payments. It's okay. Okay, whatever, debt slave, whatever you say in your brain. That's part of the matrix. It's very powerful, very powerful. I have American Home Shield for my mobile home. It helped me out with a few repairs. I didn't have to pay $1,700 to get a new well pump installed. I had already had put in $2K into it before. When my uncle died, he left his kids $100,000. They divided it with each other, and two of them blew through it in 2 years. Not sure about the other one, of course. Exactly, Sal. Celebrities are some of the biggest slaves. You guys don't really. When you're a debt slave, you guys don't understand. Like the people with the biggest debts are celebrities. The popular people that you guys follow, those are the biggest debt slaves. Doctors, lawyers, pharmacists, those are the ones in the deepest of debts. But you guys, you look at the outside view, it looks like they have money because they're making money to make the payments. But they're the deepest ones in debt. Don't look up to, like, when you see, say, for example, a doctor that looks like they're successful and you see their car. All you got to do is ask that doctor, hey, are you making car payments? Are you still paying on your student loans? Yeah, that's just a slave who's a doctor driving a nice car. That's a slave driving a nice car. You don't be impressed by slaves driving nice cars. You don't do that. Who cares? There's just a debt slave in a nice house. A debt slave who's a doctor, a debt slave that went to Princeton. It doesn't matter. They're debt slaves. It doesn't matter. Because I know a lot of people that think that didn't go to college. This is what the people that didn't go to college, this is what you guys don't know. You guys are in better position than the majority of people that went to college. They're in deep student loan debt, and you have none. The majority of those people that went to school, that probably used to talk about you for not going to college, they probably wish they were you now, because they're like $150,000, $200,000 in student loan debt, and you have no student loan debt. They would trade places with you in a minute. If their ego would let them, the majority of those people would be like, hey, man, if I could do it all over, I probably wouldn't have went to college. You don't even need to go unless you're trying to become a professional, a doctor, or a lawyer. Of course, you need to go to college, but the majority of them, you don't need to go to college, especially get deeper in debt. College is a business. That's business. If you're trying to be a doctor, yes, you got to go to college. Lawyer, yes. Anything that states requirement, if you're trying to do something, you got to go to college. But other than that, you don't have to. What's up, Homonike? Rappers better pay the drug dealer. Rappers better pay the drug dealer or businessman lending the vehicles for the music video shunned. Yeah, when rappers do their thing and the people that you see on videos, that's just business. It's just Ferraris and Lamborghini doors and all this other stuff. That's just business. It doesn't mean anything. What's up, Dark Man? Exactly, Cupcakes. They're just high earning debt slaves. This is what I suggest too for a lot of people that are new to the channel, okay? And I'm not bragging when I say this, okay? If you got a channel, I strongly suggest you invite me onto the channel or something before SMD blows up. Just so you could say, hey, I interviewed that guy before he became that person or whatever, right? I suggest you do it now, because you're never going to hear anything come from another person the way I speak about money. Very rarely. Good luck. Half the people that know about this, they don't even want to talk to you. They start to get, look, you heard Andre, he's starting to get irritated by it. It's just irritating. It's like, hey, I'm just here to help you. I just want to help. Sorry, I always tell you guys, I had to let go of a good friend because it was just getting irritating. The majority must remain debt slaves. That's just the way it is. That's just the way it works. Darkman says, my brother makes 70, and I imagine his debt is over 150. I try to tell him to take care of his debt so his stress levels can be down. He tells me that I'm hating on him. That's how my friend did. He thought I was hating on him. He got a mortgage. He just financed a boat. He got credit cards. He's always going on vacation. Of course, he's charging it all. He got a mortgage and car payments. I'm sure he still got a student loan debt. I had to let him go. Every time I get on the phone with him, he tried to, it's like he would call me and tell me about whatever something's happening going in his life. And then when I would come back and tell him about what's going on in my business, how I'm happy it's going this, like the last one was the cutoff one. When I started saying, I wanted to talk to him about the shirts. I'm like, hey man, I got these shirts coming out. His attitude was like, he didn't say it, but it was like, I don't give a fuck about your shirt. I mean, you could just tell. I said, I got to cut that off. It was disturbing my energy. You're going to have to let those people go. They're caught up in the debt matrix. You have to let them go. I mean, you don't have to stop talking to them and stuff like that. But if they start getting worse and start trying to down your vision, you have to cut them off. You have to. T.I. better have Big Meech money. Those Ben SLS weren't his. Oh, I always wonder about big stars and stuff. All I got to do is listen to them talk about money, and then I'll know if they're in debt. Sometimes you have to leave people where they are at and suffer on their. Yeah, you got to let them. Some people, you got to let them wake up on their own. Right. That's what I tell young people that never attended college. Yep. Lucky. No, I haven't. You keep telling me about that. I promise I'm going to do that. You keep telling me about that, Snuggles. Every time I get, oops, didn't mean to do that. Command Shift 4. You keep telling me about to go look for him. I will go look for him. Snuggles, keep telling me to go look, and I keep forgetting. The example I gave, $500 judgment for both. One loses half, the other hardly notices. Exactly, right. Exactly. Putting that house under the business thing. And that's exactly what I'm going to do, Andre. I'm going to have somebody put that together. I want this house under business XYZ, or the person that I'm going to have do it, they're going to be a professional who's personally debt-free, so they'll know what I'm talking about. I say, hey, I want to get a house and I want it under the business. You know how to do all that, right? Yeah, you're worth every penny. Just tell me the cost and I'll pay for it. Cosmic says, LJ, you definitely have more patience than me. Andre at least tries, but I usually keep my mask on. And well, and plus Cosmic, I mean, if you guys haven't heard the interview with Cosmic's dad, you will know what Cosmic grew up in. So she really the things I say, I always get Cosmic coming, hey, well, LJ, that don't make no sense. Well, Cosmic, I'm not talking to you. That's why it doesn't make sense. She's like, well, you know, LJ, well, I rent and Cosmic, I'm not talking to you. Okay. Now, because, you know, debt slaves will come on and say, well, wait a minute. Cosmic says she rents. Well, she's not renting the same way you are, debt slave. Okay. It's different. I have to address this for clients. I wish I didn't. But you know what? That's the way it is, Andre. That's the way it is. Anton Daniel says the same things as LJ, the exact same thing. No one pays attention to him because he comes off as arrogant. And that's so crazy, Snuggles. That is, I know. Now, don't get me wrong. I know when people see me, they think I'm arrogant. They think, who do he think he is? And I'm not even doing nothing. I'm just saying, hey, I trust the calculator, period. If you don't, that's your problem. It's nothing really arrogant, but I get it. I really got to check him out now. I got to check him out. Before Nipsey Hussle died, he was on his way up. I don't think he would have been a debt slave. No, you know, I listen to, like when I'm working, doing some things, I'll turn on Pandora and this particular channel, and they play a lot of Nipsey. He wasn't a debt slave because he was talking about owning his masters. You know, the way you could tell the way he speaks that he wasn't a debt person. That was clear. It's clearly he didn't accumulate personal debt. He did not. Nipsey was way ahead. Most don't understand. I consider him a martyr. Yeah, hey, Andre, I believe just you can hear in his music he wasn't a debt slave. It was clear. I mean, he owned that shop. Besides him owning the marathon, I'm just talking about what the words he says in the music. Okay. Owning his masters. He ain't paying nobody nothing. You know, you could just tell a person that gets it. But he was so much himself. the people that don't get it, he's probably in the streets. He probably got money from selling drugs. All you got to do is just listen to him. He's not talking like that. He's talking like this. Oh, he is. Oh, okay. So that means Andre has checked him out if he's a PCA. Okay. All right. Now I really got to go check him out. I know Snuggles been telling me for a while to go check him out. When I get off this live, I'm going to see him. I'm going to check him out. Anton. Let me go do it right now. Anton Daniel. I thought I went to there the last time. Let me see something. I'm gonna do it right now while we're online. Just a second. Yeah, I did type in his name before. Oh, this dude. Oh, I've seen him. Okay. Now let me subscribe to him right now. I've seen him before. I just never. Okay. All right. So the reason why I really didn't check him out at first, because when I go to the channel, I see the thumbnails that look like all the other gossip thumbnail people. But maybe he's doing the gossip thing, but from a debt-free perspective. So I will check him out, because if I go to a person's channel and I see gossip looking stuff, I really don't pay attention to it, because I'm not into gossip. I don't really care about other people's stuff. Huh. Okay. I'm gonna check him out. All right. I need to reach out to him. See if he should miss. Hey, if you're ever over there, Snuggles, can you mention SMD? But I will go over and mention or reach out to him. Oh, gotcha. Okay. Oh, I like that. I like that. I like that. I like it a lot. Okay, I appreciate that. I do. Okay, Cosmic. Okay. All right. I mean, I was biased with the thumbnails. I was biased with the thumbnails, but I'm gonna go check that. I remember every now and then I see with video. Okay. All right. Yeah, I will check this dude out. Now I'm reading his the titles to his videos, and okay, they're starting to make sense. Do this in your 40s if you want to be okay. All right. Okay, I'll check it out. Well, I subscribe to him now, Snuggle. So, and I turned it all on. What's up, Eclectic? Is that the accountant, Darkman? Is that the accountant? On who's live yesterday, Eclectic? Who are you talking about? Anton's or Pocket Watching? And if that's the accountant dude, the only thing I could say about him is that you got to remember, when I listen to people, I listen to see if they're in personal debt. And if I cannot tell, okay, he's a tax accountant. If I can't tell that he's not in personal debt, 9 times out of 10, he's in personal debt. And the few times that I have listened to him, he be mentioning things a person in personal debt would say, right? There's certain things you say, there's certain things you don't say. And when I listened to him the few times that I did, it's like, it sounds like he's in personal debt and he's cool with it, you know? Oh, Anton Dan. Oh, okay, cool. All right, so I subscribe to him, man. So next time he goes on his live, I'll get the notification and whatever it counts on the topic that he's talking about. But I might pop in there, because if he is the way you guys are talking and I start speaking, he's gonna know that I know too, and he'll know right away. So we'll see. But I've been looking for another person like me. I mean, not like me, but on the same road as me. You know, I would love to partner up with somebody like that. Yeah, Dark Man. See, so if you go back, like Dark Man, go back and listen to Pocket. What's his name? Pocket Watch. Now go back and listen to his videos and pick something. Just pick one of his finance and see if he's speaking properly. See if he's speaking debt free, or is he saying it's okay to be in personal debt? Because one time I heard him and this other dude was partnering up on this video, and his friend was saying some things. Says, you got to pay attention to people that do this. I'm not saying that Pocket Watch does this. I'm just saying when I hear people bounce between personal and business debt, and they're doing it without knowing they're doing it, because there is a distinct difference when you're talking about personal. You either talking about personal debt or you are talking about business debt. It's either or. It's not. You can't be crisscrossing. And when I hear people talking like that, I'd be like, I don't know how much more if I'm going to listen to this. I don't really do that. Everybody looks stressed. How are you looking in there, Gabriel? Since you were in the traffic with him, how are you looking inside of traffic? How are you looking? JT, the pocket watcher. I am a pocket watcher. Now, so tell me, Eclectic, what do you think? Do you think JT is in personal debt or not? I don't know. I'm just saying the few times that I listen to him, it just sounds like he's in personal debt. And for me, when I'm telling you this right now, I do not take financial advice from a professional accountant who's in personal debt. That makes no sense. 0 cents. None. 0. So I'm not saying that he is. I'm just saying, me personally, I wouldn't take financial advice from an accountant who's in personal debt. I would never do that. Happy I'm living. Exactly. Sometimes when I get caught in traffic, man, there'll be some angry people on the road, man. Hey, you don't have to. Hey, check this out. You don't have to cut me off. Just turn your signal on. Turn your signal on, and I will back up and let you in. You don't have to. You don't have to just cut in front of me. But even if you did, I'll still back up. Hey, man, you got somewhere more important than me. If you want to tear your car up to get there. Hey, okay. Hey, go ahead. Okay, I don't think he's in personal debt, but I don't. So that's what. Do this, Eclectic. The next time you listen to him, or just go over to watch his videos. Just pick random videos. You know the language of debt free. All you got to do is listen. Just listen. Just see how, does he talk about having a mortgage? Does he talk about having student loans? Does he talk about having debt? You just listen for it. And that doesn't say, listen, that doesn't say he doesn't know what he's talking about in accounting. All I'm saying is this. According to the laws of mathematics, it doesn't make sense for an accountant to be in personal debt. That doesn't make sense. CNTS. Aaron B says, LJ, how would you react if the richest people on earth, such as Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk, were actually in debt and didn't actually have billions of dollars in their name? I mean, that's not true. So I don't know how to. Like, you got to remember, this is what debt slaves don't know. Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, they know no currency exists, especially for debt slaves. No currency exists. When you make that much money, you don't think about money like that. Only debt slaves think about money like that. None of those debt slaves know. Listen, this is what they don't really understand. They always do the value of Jeff Bezos, or Elon Musk. They're doing the value of their business. They don't know how much debt they don't know what they're worth personally, because that's personal. You don't know how much they're personally worth. They might be personally worth 0. And they probably like it like that. Your personal worth is not public knowledge. So whenever you hear the value of Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos, they're talking about Starbucks. They're talking about SpaceX. They're talking about Tesla. Oh, Elon's worth 2.5 billion. Says his company or him? Oh, Elon Musk LLC. That's what you're talking about? Oh, got it. Okay, got it. Most CPAs, financial planners, are terrible, and I end up having to walk them through what I need. Even in business school, those finance people are dumb as right. See what I'm saying? I'm not like, I found a needle in a haystack that's going to get all my tax. I'm going to be tax ready by 2022. I'm going to be tax ready for when the big shit starts happening for me. I'll be ready. The foundation's going to be laid. And then when it happens, everything is going to be in place. All the money is going to fall where it's supposed to fall. Sells this. These are debt-free, pocket watcher, JT, Spencer Quinn, Manosphere, people like Anthony and Ramil. Okay. Yeah, I definitely know Ramil is. But like I said, I don't, Spencer Cord, I don't know who that is. Darkman said, that's why I'm hesitant to hand out advice. I'm a conscious slave that is not quite out of the woods yet. Yeah, well, you should start practicing. You got to remember like this, Darkman. If it's mathematically, if whatever you're about to say is mathematically true, then say it. Okay? If it's mathematically true, then it's okay to say it. I do not talk to slaves at all in real life. I don't know, because about their opinions. I don't care about their opinions. I don't. If he's in the real estate, that means probably business, and I'm not against business debt. Business debt is, only thing I'm talking about is personal debt. So if I hear somebody talk about getting loans for a business or something like that, that's different, right? But I always try to make sure, this is very important, Eclectic. Always listen for people that flip-flop when they're talking about money and personal business, as if they don't know that they're doing it. Especially if you listen for you, if they don't know that they're flip-flopping, that's a red flag. Red flag. It's like monopoly money, yeah. But if, like I said, in the bigger things, you got to remember, no currency at all exists for slaves. Everything, their whole life is an illusion. Everything. It doesn't matter if they hold in diamonds, gold, whatever they believe. It doesn't exist. They're in debt. They're debt slaves. Billionaires and I'm telling you guys, wait till either Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Warren Buffett, or whoever, soon as they hear me, they're going to know that I know. Soon as they hear me say I have the ability to see negative numbers psychologically, they're going to know that I know. Okay, what Snuggle says, I just shouted you out on the Lead Attorney show. I told him that I would like to see you and him do a one-on-one as usual. He doesn't mind. You just have to click the link. Oh, on his show or something. The Lead Attorney. I kind of watch. I know who he is. I know who the Lead Attorney is, but I'm not really into gossip. I just don't watch gossip. So when I see I just don't watch gossip. But if he ever gets on some finance stuff, I would love to get on the show and talk with him. But if they're talking about gossip, I don't really pay attention to that stuff, or somebody's relationships, or just gossip. Gossip just makes no sense to me. It just makes it seems like it's like a waste of time. It's just crazy. It's just a lot of gossip, and I get it. Gossip makes money. I get why. Don't get me wrong. I get why he's doing it. He fits the part. He's an attorney. He's always dressed nice. He's always got the background. He's got the nice suit. Got the nice teeth. He fits it very well. And then when I see all that, then I see him talking about gossip. I'll be like, why is he talking about gossip? Oh, it's okay. It's to make some money. Okay, whatever. Whatever. She said, I don't care if you don't watch gossip or not. The people over there still need your assistance. True. Assistance. A lot of sheep do not know they're sheep. That's your job. You're the shepherd. No, what I'm saying, Snuggles, is this. You can't I can't come over into a gossip channel when the majority of people are there for gossip, and then I come in talking dead stuff. They don't want to hear what I have to say, and I don't really care. I mean, the majority must be slaves. Okay, I get it. All right, and every now and then I'll pop in, see what the lead attorney's talking about, or I'll read the thumbnail, and if it's gossip, I just leave. I don't come in and put a thumbs down or bad comments. None of my business, you know. But just, I don't know, man. To me, I think the reason why gossip is so big right now, because we're in some horrible times, and people will do anything to escape their life temporarily, if it's for hours, for 2 hours, just to get out of their life and not worry about what's going on. Because when that show is over, they're back in their life, back in their home, worrying about the next bill that's coming in, how they're going to pay the light bill, you know, because this is some rough times right now. It's some rough times for many people. The church of debt. And like I said, and Snuggles is right. I am here to help people. I really do. I care about people. I want you guys to feel freedom, but you must own yourself first. I want you guys to feel what it's like to own yourself. Your whole life is going to change, man. Your relationship, everything is going to change, and people are going to know it. You see, you guys seeing me grow right now. I'm growing slow. One day next year, I'm going to explode. It's going to happen next year. I'm going to explode. I want you guys to have followed me. I'm telling you before it happens. So when it does happen, I want you to tell everybody, you know, LJ been saying that shit for years. He said he was going to be up on the stage with Tony Robbins. He's been saying that. He said that back in 2021. He's been saying that. The only reason why I'm not as big as those guys right now, they've been at it longer than me. More people know them. That's it. I already know I have something millions don't have. I already know that. Half the time, the gossip has to do with people being in debt. That's why they put themselves in precarious positions. You're right. To be gossiped about and manipulated because of the lack of money. Yeah, you're right. You're exactly right. Because there is no way I would go up on a stage. One second. I gotta wipe mine. Just a second. There is no way I would go up on a panel and be berated by just people. Now, you guys know I go up on panels. I'm not scared of no panel. I don't care what anybody that gets up on the panel. If they don't believe in math, I'm going to just shred them. That's like coming to a gunfight with no bullets and telling me you came to the gunfight with no bullets. You don't trust math? You're unarmed. They don't know that. That's why when it comes to the finance game, the personal finance game, I have no fear, because I'm never going to ever lose, ever. Oh, yeah, I bet it is. That's why liquor sales are up. Yep. They're hiring all over. It does not have to be that rough. Do they want to? You know what? As soon as that unemployment money runs out, they have to work. Okay, that's all they have to cut off the money. Now they got to let the money dry up. As soon as the money dry up, all the jobs are going to be taken up. Right now, debt slaves don't realize right now is the time to get a job, because when the unemployment money dries up and all this extra money, there's not going to be any jobs left. They have to take them, or how they going to eat? Cupcake says, I was on one person's channel and they were saying it was a liquor shortage. Wow. Why do you think that is? People trying to drink away their problems. I went to the cell phone store for a phone repair. Instead of taking care of the repair, the associate wanted me to upgrade to the newest iPhone. I declined, and she frowned at me. My iPhone 11 works just fine. Thank you. It's just business. Just business. I get it. I totally get it. Totally get it. It's just business, man. And as you guys probably noticed, I used to come on a lot. I think I'm like Andre. I'm starting to get impatient with debt slaves. I really just don't. I don't mind reading articles because I want to show you guys who those articles are for. Those articles are for debt slaves to make you guys feel good about being in debt. That's what they're there for, to make you feel good about being in debt. That's what it's there for. Now, I don't know why I've been blessed with such a gift. I have no idea, but I accept it and I will never abuse it, ever. Because you guys don't understand, with this ability to see negative numbers psychologically, I could use this for bad. You guys could be easily abused as you are right now. Right now, you're being abused legally. But the ability to abuse you illegally is easy. But I wouldn't do that because I don't trade the time of my life for money, because also you don't have to do that to slaves, to debt slaves. You don't have to cheat, scam, lie, steal from debt slaves. They're giving everything away. They don't know they don't own it. Why are you going to steal from slaves that don't know they don't own anything? And then you're going to steal from them? That doesn't make any sense. Just like you cannot become wealthy if your taxes are not straight. You can't become wealthy if you don't understand how taxes work. If you're not paying your taxes right, you cannot become wealthy. That's impossible. So if you're one of these people, just like all the other debt slaves, not paying your taxes, forgetting to add in accounts, these digital accounts, CashApp, PayPal, and you're just not claiming it. Millions of you debt slaves are doing the same thing. You guys all think the same thing, the same way. You guys all do the same thing. But the crazy part about it is you guys all think it's just you doing it. Y'all says, after I got laid off from my last job, I was rushing to get a new one. I had 3 offers and picked the one that paid me similar to my last job. It's almost like I didn't skip a beat. Wow. Any questions? All right, I'm going to put this link up here one more time. If you guys got any questions, if you're new to the channel, you can ask me some questions. And again, if you're a follower, like, if you're an SMD member, follower, whatever, and you see some other finance channels that you think I would fit in or should get on, regardless if they like me or not, I really don't care. But let them know or reach out to me, send me an email. Here, let me get me, here's my email. Write me, let me know. Send them my email. Hell, I don't care. Invite them to see my channel if they want to. But I strongly suggest that you get me on your show. And none of this is bragging. I'm just saying what is. Here is my Cash App. Thank you for the people that have been sending me Cash App by watching the videos. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Especially the one with Antoine Kirkland. Got some good responses to that. That was really, really good. People really enjoyed that video. So Antoine, if you're listening, man, good job on that video. That was great. People loved it. Right there, if you want an SMD shirt, scrolling along the bottom there, going to my Shopify, get all the statements that you will never had seen before anywhere on anybody's shirts. There's a shirt in the UK, SMD shirt in the UK now. Okay, SMD has went overseas. Any questions? Turn that banner off. If you're not following me on if you want a consultation right there, SavingsMinusDebt.com. Please don't forget to subscribe. You can follow me on Instagram. Any other questions? Think about to wrap this up anyway. My girl's probably like, oh, she said turn the oven on. Uh-oh. How long ago was that? Uh-oh, 347. Oh, okay. Hold on for a quick second. All right. I'm supposed to turn that on 10 minutes ago. Oh, I turned my thing off. That's why. All right. Snuggle says, are you going to have separate channel for just filming your workouts? When I get back into it. I have another channel. It's L Young or something like that. I just haven't been over there in a while. But I do already have a separate channel right now that I will put my workout videos when I get back into it. I haven't since the pandemic, I haven't been going as hard as I used to. I've been really putting in concentration on this business and helping my girlfriend with her business. So I've been putting things in priority like right now. So right now is the time to concentrate on getting all my tax stuff straight in preparation for next year. So everything is the way it is supposed to be. You know, I found a business tax / person that's personally debt free. So he knows exactly what I want and why I want it this way. And he knows exactly what to do. I just tell him, hey, I want this because I'm doing this. I'm gonna be I'm a motivational speaker. So you need to give me a license in whatever category. Hey, I don't really want to know all that. You just know how to do it, right? Yeah, you know what I want, right? There's no cheating. There's no lying. There's no hiding the money. This is where all my bank accounts are. This is what I did. Did I mix and match there? Sure did. Help me do all that. Okay. Not at all. Never. That will never happen. I will never get fat because I won't allow myself to get fat. I won't do that. I'm 51 now. I haven't allowed myself to get fat for 20 years. I'm not going to start at 51. So no, I don't know. That will never happen. No, do I still have a six pack? Yes, I still have my six pack. It's just not as tight. It's just not tight. It's just not as sharp as I have usually in the summer times. All right, people, we're going to wrap this up then. Thank you, everybody, for joining today. Much appreciated. I know how much you guys love these article reads. I enjoy reading them just to show you guys what they do. It's just business, and it's just business. Just business. What's up, Mike 86? Caught the tail end. Just can't wait to listen to the stream. Yep, caught the tail end, sir, but welcome. I'm about to get off now, so thank you, everybody. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do because I gotta look good up on the stage, right? And I gotta look like a 51-year-old that people ain't never seen before. You know what I'm saying? So when I get up there, because when I get up on stage, people are going to look like, hey, what's LJ look like? He's been talking all this shit. He's supposed to, yeah, I know. And I'm going to back it up too. It's going to be all just the way you guys are thinking. It's going to look just like that. Yeah. Yes. Chick-fil-A adds up. Chick-fil-A some good food, man. I ain't gonna lie. Chick-fil-A is good. Like I said, Chick-fil-A is just good because their customer service. I love Chick-fil-A's customer service. All right. Thank you, everybody. Until next time. Later.